So in previous lecture we have seen the types of variables and the types of measurement system, that is the SI units and the English, that is American units. So we'll try to see the various base units for the various variables. Okay, so for metric system, like example for the length. Okay, so for length we generally measure length in the centimeter, meter. Okay, but the SI unit for the our length is meter. Okay, meter. So the SI unit for the length is meter, and the length is what? The length is the distance between the 2 point, and the so for measurement of the distance or the length we use the rulers or the meter sticks to find out the length of the objects. Okay, length of the objects. So that is the length. Okay, so SI unit for length is meter. Now next variable is the mass. Okay, the mass is the object. So mass is the amount of matter that makes up to an object. Okay, the mass and the weight. Okay, so one important thing is here, mass and weight. So what is the difference between these two? Okay, so basically mass is the mass of a system is the taking in the without any external force. Okay, mass is taken without any external force. But if we take the weight of the given system, we are considering the gravitational force acting on that particular system. Okay, so once we have got the weight of a system, it is not a mass of that particular system. Okay, if we take the weight of a system, it is not the mass of that particular system. So mass and weight are the different things. Okay, so the SI unit of mass is the gram. Okay, SI unit of mass is the gram. So we can compare that the mass of a various object, like if we consider the golf ball or some paper clip, which has quite different in their mass. Okay, so mass of object will not change unless we add or some subtract the matter from the substance. Okay, so in order to change the mass of a given substance, we have to either add some amount of that particular substance, or we need to remove that particular substance from the given system. Okay, given system. So how will you measure that mass? So generally we use the weighing balance or the some another standard measuring devices are there, like triple beam balance, which will measure the mass of a system and which is unaffected by the gravity. Okay, so this type of device can be used for the measurement of mass. Okay, can be used for the measurement of mass which is unaffected by the gravity, and if it is affected by the gravity, then we will say that it is the weight of a system, not a mass of a system. So this is how we come to the weight. So weight is the measure of a force of gravity acting on an object. Okay, so your weight can change depending upon the force of the gravity. Okay, so if we like say your weight at earth is around say 50 kg. Okay, 50 kilogram. So you will face or you will say that if we went to the moon or some space station, their gravitational force are quite less. Okay, so weight of say on earth is 50, but the gravitation of the moon is around 1/6 of that of the earth. So your weight will be in turn reduced on the moon. Okay, so if you went to the moon surface and if you measure the weight, your weight will be also reduced to the sixth time. Okay, reduce 6 times that on the earth. And why is it so? Because weight is considered to be the force acting on that particular object, and the force is nothing but gravitational force. Okay, so your weight can change depending upon the force which is acting on the given substance, and here the force acting is the gravitational force. So the gravity will change the or the gravitational force will change depending upon the planet that you are on. Okay, the SI unit of weight is Newton. Okay, and not the kg. Okay, so the SI unit of weight or mass is kg, but the SI unit of weight is Newton. Okay, and the weight can be measured in the English system or the American system by the variable of pound. Okay, pound. So we will use this pound variable. So gravitational force. Okay, so gravitational force is the force of attraction between the any two objects with certain mass. Okay, so this force is depends upon the two variables, that is the distance between the two objects and the mass of the two objects, and that law of mass, that force mass given by the Newton. We have the equation like it is related with the product of masses of the two objects, m1 m2 upon r square, where r is the distance between the two objects. Okay, so based upon that equation we can say that the force or the gravitational force is depending upon the masses of the two objects and the distance between the two objects. Now next parameter or next variable is the volume, and it is again a derived variable. Okay, so volume variable is a derived variables, and how can we derive that? So in order to derive volume, we just need to multiply the length variable 3 times. Okay, if we multiply the length variable 3 times, then we will get the volume variable. So volume variable is the amount of space contained in an object. So we can find the volume of a box shape by the formula length into width into height. Okay. So if you measure the length, its width and its height, you will get the exact volume of the given box or given object. So in the case, units would become cubic centimeter, because here the base unit that we have used is the centimeter. So the volume of box will be what for the given box? The volume will be 5 into 3 into 2, that is 30 centimeter cube. Okay, 30 centimeter cube. So if you want to measure the liquid, because liquids are occupying the volumes, so for measuring the volumes we generally use the certain base unit, and for the volume the SI unit, or for the base SI unit for the volume is liter. Okay, base SI unit for the volume is liter, and we normally measure the volume with the graduated cylinder or a graduated pipette. Okay, so how much accurately does we require that um, given amount of liquid? Based upon that we will use the either graduate or the measuring cylinder or graduate pipette. Okay, graduated pipette. So for say suppose 50 ml of water or 50 ml of solvent, we use this graduated cylinder, and if we require say 0.5 ml of certain solvent, then we cannot use this cylinder. Okay, either of it is 10 centimeter cylinder only, but we cannot use that. So for measuring of 0.5 ml of given solvent, we have to use the graduated pipette. Okay, graduated pipette. So then again there are the certain things that we should keep in mind while measuring the volume. Okay, volume. So for liquid there is a one important phenomenon, that is the surface tension, which occurring on the surface molecule of a liquid. Okay, so based upon the surface tension, the molecule will form the curved surface on its curved surface, either in the upward direction or in the downward direction. Okay, so the curved surface might be like this or might be like this. Okay, so in either direction you will get the such type of curve. So liquid which form the curve upper surface when poured into the graduated cylinder. So in order to measure the correct volume, read the bottom of curve, which is called as a meniscus. Okay, so for the liquids which form the upper, okay, which form the this type of curve, we tend to measure the, okay, meniscus of that particular liquid. Okay, so when the metric system was created for the measurement of liquids, so they have decided that the 1 centimeter of water would equals to the 1 millimeter of a water. Okay, and 1 ml of water will gives you the mass of 1 gram. Okay, so this is the standard convention that is used for estimation of like various base units. Okay, So even if you like know the this the degree centigrade or some another variables, okay, temperature variables or this length variables, okay, temperature variables like degree say Kelvin, okay, or some length variables like say centimeter or meter, or the gram variables, okay, gram variables. So all of these variables like Kelvin, centimeter, gram, they are derived from certain standard convention, okay. So we have assumed the certain convention, and based upon that we derive the upcoming units or higher units, okay. So for deriving the this volume unit, what we have assumed, or what internationally it is assumed that the 1 centimeter of water which is equals to the 1 ml of water, which is nothing but the 1 gram of water, okay. So this is what the assumption has been made, and based upon this much weight or this much volume, we have compared the volume of given our unknown solvent or say known solvent of any liquid, and then we will compare that, and based upon that we get to the know this volume of that particular liquid, okay. So if we are having 1 centimeter of water, which is nothing but what, 1 ml of water, so milliliter or centimeter cube is the same unit, okay. Milliliter or the centimeter cube is the same unit, which is again equals to the 1 gram of water, okay. So this is the basic units. So what would be the mass of a 50 ml of water, okay. So for 50 ml of water the mass should be 50 gram, okay, 50 gram. So for 1 liter of water, how much does it mass of that 1 liter of water will be what? Simply here the variable is liter, okay, or the unit is liter. So the weight unit should be again in the 1000 time, that is the 1 kg, or simply 1000 gram, okay. So the weight of 1 liter of water is assumed to be 1 gram, oh sorry, 1000 gram or 1 kilogram, okay, 1 kilogram. So these are the certain variables, and that the types of measurement or the types of variable that changes, and the types of base values that we will use for the all that type of variables. So next is the how will you make the measurements, okay. So how will you make the measurements? So for measurement, there is certain uncertainty, okay, there is certainly uncertainty in the measurements, okay, measurements. Why is it so? Because the instrument or the that device, measuring device that we are going to use is having some inherent or the inbuilt fault or inbuilt error within itself, okay, and we cannot like eliminate all the errors. So every measurement is consisting of certain error, okay, every measurement will consisting of certain error, and the source of uncertainties or the source of errors are, it might be the instrumental error or the calibration error or the user error, okay. So there are these type of three types of error are there. One is the instrumental type of error, another one is the calibration type of error, and last one is the user error, okay. So based upon these errors, we can say that the given measurement is either good or bad, okay. So the properly taken measurement, which includes the one estimated digit, okay, will gives you the wrong results. Suppose I am taking the weight of say around 1.08 gram of semi substance is there, like glucose is there, okay? 1.08 gram of glucose, and if my measuring instrument is showing me only one digit, okay, one digit of output, so I might get what, 1.7, no, not 1.7, so either I can get 1.1 or 1.0, okay. So I have to get in between of this, but exactly how much I should get? I should get 1.08 gram of glucose, but I can measure at most 1.1 or 1.0. Okay, so preferably I will try to use the 1.1 because this term comes out to be near to the 1.1, but the extra that 0.2 gram is there, 0.02 gram is there, so that will cause the error in the given experiment. Okay, so that type of instrumental error, this is not instrumental error, so here we can say that it is the calibration type of error. Okay, so there are the various types of error that has been arise due to the limitations, certain limitations. Okay, so how much or the what are the various cares that you should take for the measurement. So measuring devices which should have the units marks on them. Okay, so before measuring the any variable, there should be like specific units which gives you the idea about what readings you are going to get after that measurement. Okay, so when we are taking the measurements, so we have to take all the known digits that are visible on the given instrument. Okay, so those mark on the given measuring device, we should take all these visible digits. So one estimated digit, which is the multiple of 1/10 of the smallest mark unit, is taken into the measuring device. Okay, so here in this example we'll see the how that personal error or the some eyes of a observer can alter the value of a given measurement. Okay, so this is the one leaf. Okay, so we are measuring the length of that leaf. Okay, so if you try to find out the exactly length, so you will see that it lies either in the 7.1 or 7.2. Okay, 7.1 or 7.2 centimeter. So the estimated digit, we can, if we like zoom this and if we try to find out the exact length, so for the measuring scale we generally measure up to say 1 millimeter. Okay, so the least count for this scale is around 1 millimeter. So we can certainly make an approximation that this length might be 7.16 centimeter. Okay, this is the estimated digit because it is higher than the 0.5. Okay, 0.5, so we can predict that it might be close to the 7.16. Okay, 7.16, but it is not again the exact. If we change the measuring instrument, if we use this a vernier caliper, then we can get the some more precise or more accurate value. Okay, more precise or more accurate value that can be used for the analysis. So that is the measurements. Okay, so next point is the accuracy and the precision. Okay, so next point is comes out to be the accuracy and precision. We'll try to see that in the next lecture.